Today's topic is word order. That is how the words are organized within a sentence. This is a picture of the Indo-European language family tree. It's nice and artistic, and what is it trying to express is that languages have many things in common, yet they differ in many ways. Some are more similar, like siblings in one family or two branches of the tree, while others are very different. And now we're not talking about the words of the language, the lexicon. We are talking about how the language is built up. The purpose of a language is always to transfer a message. But how languages transfer the message can differ. They can use different strategies to express the same thing. All languages have two basic parts. They have the words, which are called the lexicon, and they have some set of rules, which is called the syntax or also grammar. But different languages use them in different ways. Now, for example, Spanish, which is called a fusional language, you don't have to know this term, absolutely not. Unless you are going to spend your life studying linguistics like me, you don't need to know that. But when you look at the Spanish and the English translation, we see that it basically is word to word, and it's okay. The only difference is here in the verb, where the Spanish verb expresses more things than the English one. But if we look at some other language, for example, Chinese, which is called isolating or analytical, we can see that it behaves very differently. We can see that in order to say my, we need to use I, all, and a possessive marker. We need to use three signs to express the same thing as English does in the word my. And if we look at a different language, for example, Turkish, we see that this is exactly the opposite of Chinese. They put so many things in one single word that in English, the entire sentence needs to be used to express this one concept, which in Turkish can be put into one single word. In some languages, the order of the words doesn't matter much. Now, the following example is from Croatian. You don't have to worry about the example, but I will just show you that, for example, Milan voli Anu is exactly the same as Anu voli Milon. And it means that Milan loves Anna. It doesn't matter which name comes first, this will always mean that Milan loves Anna. If we say Anna voli Milona, it is the exactly same thing as Milona voli Anna, and it means that Anna loves Milan. The only thing that's different is the ending on the name Anna and Anu, Milan and Milona. And this ending shows us who loves whom. It's not the position of the word. While if we look at English, or in some other languages as well, the order of the words is what creates the meaning. If we say the dog bit Timmy, it is a very different thing than when Timmy bit the dog. We can see that there is no difference in the form of the word, dog, dog, Timmy, Timmy, and the difference in meaning is created by the position of the word in the sentence. So the dog bit Timmy, dog is doing the biting, Timmy bit the dog, Timmy is being abusive to the dog. There are three main things that decide the word order in a language. This is the subject, who, the verb, the action, and object, what. So if we have a sentence, she ate the cookie, she is the subject, ate is the verb, and the cookie is the object. Subject, verb, object. This order, SVO, subject, verb, object, is very common. Very many languages use this basic word order. For example, English, Spanish, French, Norwegian, and many others. One more quite common one is SOV, subject, object, verb, as if we said she the cookie ate. This word order is used, for example, in Urdu and in several other languages. Another one which is fairly spread is VSO, ate she the cookie. And this is used, for example, in classical Arabic and some other languages. The other three combinations, which you can put together from the letters S, V, and O, are not very common, but there are languages in the world which use such word orders. Now we'll look more closely at English and Norwegian because that's what's important for us right now. When we look at a basic sentence in English, subject, verb, object, I bought a gift for you yesterday. Yesterday is not part of the object, it's just some information about the timing. We have I, subject, bought, verb, a gift for you is the object. Norwegian is also an SVO language, but it has an additional rule, so-called V2, which means that the verb always must come in the second place. So we have Jeg kjøpte en gave til deg i går. Subject jeg, verb kjøpte, en gave til deg is the object. And i går, again, is just some addition to the sentence. If we put something in the front of the subject in English, we put some X, some stuff in the front. The word order stays the same. It will still be SVO. Yesterday, that's the stuff. And I, the subject, bought, verb, a gift for you. In Norwegian, since it has the V2 rule, the V, the verb, will stand its grounds. So if we put something in the front of the sentence, the V, the verb must still come second and subject must move. So we have i går, that's the stuff we put in the front. Verb, kjøpte, subject, jeg, en gave til deg. We can see that in English is subject-verb, in Norwegian is verb-subject. It is very common for a Norwegian speaker to make mistakes in this in English and use the Norwegian word order in English sentences when you put something in the front. And that's why we are talking about it, so you would avoid making this mistake in the future. And it doesn't really matter what we put in the front, if it's a single word or if it's a sentence. Yesterday I bought a gift for you. Before I called, I bought a gift for you. Last night after dinner, I bought a gift for you. It will always behave the same. After I thought about it, I bought a gift for you. There will always be subject-verb. In Norwegian, it again doesn't matter, but it will always be verb-subject. Før jeg ringte deg, kjøpte jeg en gave til deg. I går kveld etter middagen kjøpte jeg en gave til deg. Etter å ha tenkt på det, kjøpte jeg en gave til deg. It doesn't matter what we put in the front, it has the same effect. It always makes the verb come second. Now, this can get more complicated in questions. When first we'll look at modal and helping verbs. Modals are can, may, and so on, and helping verbs are do or have. So if we look at declarative sentences, sentences that just state something in English, we have SVO full stop. He can drive a car. If we make a question with modal verbs and helping verbs, we make the question as VSO and question mark. Can he drive a car? And we see that we just swap the order of the verb and the subject. In Norwegian, when we have a declarative sentence, han kan kjøre en bil, and a question, we do the exactly same thing. Kan han kjøre en bil? We swap the modal verb and the subject. So far so good, it's exactly the same. However, when it comes to other verbs, which are not modal verbs, which are not helping verbs, or also called auxiliaries, we have to be very careful. In English, again, he bought a car, declarative sentence, but here we have a verb which is not a modal verb, which is not an auxiliary, and we have to use a helping verb, did, do in the present, did in the past, to help build the question. So we move the subject and the verb slightly backwards, and we put did in the front. Did he buy a car? In Norwegian, here comes the difference. In the declarative sentence, han kjøpte en bil, and in the question, we do the same thing as we did with modal verbs. We just swap them. Kjøpte han en bil. And this can create problems, so you have to remember not to use the Norwegian rule again in making questions. And now we'll look at some exercises to see if you have understood this correctly.